Good evening and thanks for joining us for KGW News at 5. I'm Brittany Falkers, and we begin this evening with some perspective on the pandemic. History and health experts just released a comparison of the 1918 flu pandemic to our current COVID times. And there are lessons to learn from that bleak time more than a century ago when influenza killed nearly 700,000 Americans. Tim Gordon spoke with a professor at Oregon State University who led that effort.
For more than 2 years, our lives have been changed by a worldwide pandemic. Now, U.S. officials are suggesting a big surge of COVID-19 could infect 100 million Americans this coming fall and winter. That's hard news to hear, but it's not surprising for people who've studied the 1918 flu pandemic. Experts just published an article comparing that outbreak to our current pandemic to answer a critical question.
Which is, how do pandemics end? Do they ever end? And what are the aftermath or aftermaths of a pandemic? Can we see that historically? What might we be able to expect, or what kinds of questions should we be asking ourselves?
Christopher McKnight Nichols is the director of OSU's Center for Humanities and a history professor. He, along with other experts, see many similarities between the influenza pandemic of the past and our current COVID crisis. First, that both diseases will very likely live on and take lives.
So, short answer is no, pandemic isn't over. And the long answer is the same thing with the flu. The flu's still with us, right? 100 plus years later. COVID will probably still be with us in 100 years.
Nichols knows that after 2+ years, COVID fatigue is real and understandable. But he is concerned that, like in the early 1900s, people ignoring the facts and deciding it's over will make us less safe.
So one of the things you see in the historical record is mayors and public health officials hoping the pandemic is over and yanking off measures, even when they didn't have vaccines and other things. And then you have much higher surges, a second peak that's worse.
Some of the methods of fighting disease haven't changed much. In 1918, they used quarantines, similar hygiene practices, and what we call social distancing today. But there are differences between now and then, when efforts to develop effective vaccines did not work. That's not the case today. Modern medicine and public health infrastructure is much better. But Nichols says the science still isn't the final decider.
From my perspective as a historian, the ending of a pandemic is political or psychological. It isn't biological or epidemiological. And that's something that we could get across to people almost regardless of their politics.
So learning from the past is, in essence, realizing it's up to us to responsibly deal with a disease that will be with us at some level for a very long time.
We need to figure out how to take on board those lessons and make better judgments moving forward, which may mean restricting our lives a bit. And I think we need to be comfortable with that.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
Nichols hopes the article published by Cambridge University Press will be used and shared by teachers, but it is available free to anyone online, and we have a link for you. You can find that at kgw.com. All right, big story today, of course, the beautiful weather, not just because it's beautiful for one day, but because we're continuing this amazing stretch.
At least the next 4 days, well, 5 days or so, but we're not going to be seeing any major changes move on shore until late Thursday afternoon and the evening hour. That's a big smile for Brittany Falkers. Finally, it's feeling like spring, right? And we're a month away from summer. Hey, I'm not complaining. It's definitely feels nice out there. We did some yard work. I think a lot of people took advantage of the sunny and dry conditions. And people are going to be taking advantage of it a lot more because this sunny stretch continues into, like I said, most of the week. We're looking at a temperature of 72 degrees. We have a 22-degree halo throughout the metro area that's been kind of hanging around most of the afternoon. I'll talk more about that, but from our camera vantage point, you don't get a chance to check it out right now. Go outside. You can see it here in a little bit. Spring weather sticks around most of the week as we look at the weather headlines. Sunny and pleasant. Monday highs around 70 degrees. How does the mid to the upper 70s sound? That doesn't arrive until Wednesday, but we could be seeing the possible of the warmest day we've seen so far this year. Right now it sits at 75 degrees. I'm forecasting highs right around 76 heading into Wednesday. We do have a weak disturbance that's going to be moving on shore, bringing in some light showers late tonight and along the Oregon coast, kind of picking up some intense cells out there in the Pacific. It's not going to be adding up to much. By the time it moves along the coast and reaches the coast range, it's going to break apart. With that said, though, there's a slight chance we'll be seeing some light sprinkles sprinkles late tonight and into tomorrow, and that is it. So as we look at the futurecast for tomorrow, we're still going to be seeing some high clouds. It kind of has felt a little bit on the muggy side out there earlier today. Expect to see that same kind of feeling heading into tomorrow, but you can see by tomorrow morning, we're going to be waking up to mostly cloudy skies. As we go throughout the later part of the day, these clouds lift a little bit. We'll be seeing a little bit more of the sunshine heading into tomorrow afternoon. But let's look at some of these temperatures you're going to be running into over the next few hours. So by early tomorrow morning, we'll be starting off right around the mid to the upper 50s by the end of your morning commute. This model is showing upper 60s for daytime highs. I'm going right around 68 to 70 degrees for your daytime highs. And I'll talk more about that and what's in store heading into next week. And of course, jumping ahead on that because it's a holiday weekend. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Joe. You know, perfect weather today for the community to hit the pavement and raise awareness about mental health. For the first time since 2019, the National Alliance on Mental Health of Oregon hosted their NAMI Walks fundraiser in person. The walk in Northeast Portland's Peninsula Park raised awareness and money for mental health advocacy, as well as local programs and services. You know, 1 in 4 adults in the U.S. lives with a mental illness, and 1 in 10 children. Raising awareness is a big part of NAMI's mission, and the need to connect people to resources has only grown because of the pandemic.
You can't get away from what we just experienced, and an organization like ours, NAMI, helps in that process of the healing process, the coping process, so people stay healthy.
This in-person walk brought those resources out into the community. It also was a chance for people struggling with mental health to come together and share their experiences. Pre-pandemic, NAMI Walks Northwest was the largest mental health walk on the West Coast. For info on NAMI and local programs offered free of charge, just visit namior.org. Some local public relations firms are celebrating after winning several craft beer marketing awards. There were 12 Crushy winners with ties to Oregon, and 6 of them were based right here in Portland. Forest Green Marketing and PR won the Platinum Crushy. Seathirst Creative won the Gold Crushy. Hopstown Handles won 1 Global Crushy. And the big winner was Sally Morrow Creative. They won 2 Platinum Crushies and 1 Gold Crushy.
You know, we've been in award shows before, we know with success. But I think what was really impressed me anyway about this was the number of judges. I mean, there's over 600 judges in this award show. So not only are they, you know, people in their own industry and design and marketing and brewery industry, but they're consumers.
The CBMAS says that the only global awards competition to recognize the importance of craft beer artwork, culture, retail, marketing, and design. I mean,